Alright. Testing, testing, testing. Let's see how the audio quality is going. Think we are good to go for the most part. I think. Alright. All right, everyone. Sanjuchi here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great start to the week. What we have here is a rare opportunity for me to tackle the new Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter as it drops. Let me just refresh this page here. But yeah, it's a holiday here, so why not, right? I love getting these opportunities to actually do the chapter as it drops. Like, you know, it kind of gets kind of discouraging being like, oh, if I'll cover the chapter way later after I come from work. So yeah. So shout out to you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Of course, let me know your thoughts on this chapter if you've read it already. I know naturally the, I guess, scantillations or whatever would have come out from before, so I imagine some of you have read it already. You can drop your chapter ratings below or in the chat. So yeah, let's see what we got here. Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 27. Bet your life on it. We have Inojin on the cover, which I know it sounds away, but I would never expect to get Inojin on a cover. No bad blood against Inojin, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, so continuing, we have Daemon here. Sarada has her Mangekyo deactivated. You get it now, right? I could snuff you both out on a whim in an instant without either of you even realizing you were dead. Yo, the man just looked like such a menace, bro. So why didn't you? It's unnatural, no matter how you look at it. Hold on, everything Gucci? Yeah, it's unnatural no matter how you look at it. How the two of you who are not Otsutsuki managed to elude Omnipotence influence. Is it because Boruto and Otsutsuki has stolen your hearts? No, that alone can't explain it, which is a theory like some of us have had, that since they're in love with Boruto and he's an Otsutsuki. But yeah, that alone seems like it'd be too, I don't know, it seems like it needs to be more than that, right? Anyway, no, that alone can't explain it. There are plenty of others, both in and outside the village, who carry a torch for Kawaki and Boruto. So if that's all it takes to evade my ability, then there ought to be more people like you out there. But there aren't. It's just the two of you, which leaves just one possibility. I must have excluded you both. Okay, that's a possibility. That seems more reasonable. Because of course she doesn't have like full control of omnipotence. Hey man, I'm here, David. Not too bad, you know, feeling a little bit tired, but I'm here. Little holiday, so I get to cover the chapter as it drops here. So welcome to the stream, man. I hope you're doing pretty good. Yeah, as I was saying, since she doesn't have like control over omnipotence like fully, yeah, she might have subconsciously just excluded the two of them. So that could be a reasonable explanation. Unconsciously, of course. I must have wished it to be so, and omnipotence made it happen. But why? Sarada, remember what you said that day? How about we just be ordinary friends? But I mean, even though that's a reasonable explanation, well, then again, it's not. At no point were they affected. So before they really even got to that point in that conversation in this flashback here. So I still think it could be more than that, but I'll work with Ada's theory for now. It made me so happy because that was something I'd been wanting forever, even before I met you in person. Maybe since we were all people whose hearts had been stolen by Otsutsuki. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, it represented the kind of normal interpersonal relationships I'd been wishing for. I really don't see either of you trying to harm me at this point. And besides, I actually don't think I'd mind anymore if you were the ones to kill me. Oh wow, really? Okay. Take your time, look at it. Sarada grabbing Sumeri's hand. Oh, okay. Group hug? I've never heard of a mutual life or death friendship. Yeah, that's new for me too. So then, what's this bold hug, Sarada? It's proof of my resolve, as well as of my friendship. I'm not opposed to the idea of risking my life on a friendship. It's the epitome of excitement. Thank you, both of you. Once again, it's nice to meet you, my very dear friends. Alright, day one chilling. Mamushi will undergo division. It's one of his abilities, division, and there's almost no limit to how many he can become. So, do they all have equal strength though? So they're like basically like shadow clones. No, they're totally different. The biggest distinction is that each individual is a real him. Therefore, there's no splitting of chakra, nor of power or physical strength. Okay, interesting. You know, this is like a nice segue back into how they would say, oh, ninjutsu just tries to copy shinjutsu. So it makes sense having the shadow clone shinjutsu have no like weakness, basically. He can multiply full strength versions of himself. That's really bad news. The only drawback is that as he creates more of himself, there's a significant drop in intelligence. Okay. I'm going to be honest, having 8 abilities sounds inconvenient. You never know what desire omnipotence is going to act on. Yeah, it's not really even the abilities that's the issue. It's just that she can't control it. You know what I mean? So it's not even that. But I get what you mean. In her in her context, it's like shit. You never know what can happen. Plus, his sense of pain dulls and his behavior becomes simpler. These are weaknesses that we will be able to exploit. So you're saying our best chance is to wait until they've become stupid enough, then cut them all down at once? Precisely. One more thing, and this is crucial. You must destroy both eyes. The ones who've lost their eyes won't be able to divide further. Okay, their eyes. But be careful, as their head count decreases, each remaining one's intelligence will improve. Okay. I see. If we accidentally leave a few alive, they'll each be harder to deal with. But if they increase too many, we'll be in over our heads too. Let him reach 20 to 30 bodies. They'll become easier to handle, as if you were dealing with animals. Taking them all out in one swoop then would be ideal. Let's just suppose Mamushi leaves one of himself back at their base. Getting rid of all the ones in the village wouldn't wipe him out entirely, would it? You're right. No need to worry about that. The divided individuals can't help flocking together. So even if they made one wait behind, instinct would cause that one to home in on and rejoin the rest. Wait, Kyle, wagwan man. We're out here up and gunning. Okay, I see. And that'll be more likely the dumber he is. Just wondering, why is it necessary to confront and engage him in Konoha? If we know all this, shouldn't we just preemptively strike before he comes invading? Well, he wants Ada, so, you know. The main reason for fighting him in Konoha is to prevent Jura from intervening. Jura's targets are Boruto and Himawari. If either moves, he will. But if Konoha is the battlefield, he won't appear. Why not? For whatever reason, he's taken a liking to our village. Been dropping by bookstores and sweet shops regularly. He's been frequently sighted. What? The man just be chilling, bro. Man just be chilling, to be honest. I drink little tea, isn't it? Nothing crazy. You know, it's today when I woke up, I realized that it was holiday here. Pretty sure you told me, or at least hinted at it, but I was so out of it. Yeah, I might have mentioned it, maybe, but this is what it is. Where am I? I've been having a sensory unit report any sightings, but we have no choice but to leave him alone. I've ordered the Konoha police to keep their distance too. Jura frowns upon running amok in Konoha, Mamushi knows this very well, so to avoid incurring Jura's wrath, he'll refrain from needless destruction. Even if he gets dumb, it's instinctive. No matter how much his intelligence drops, his dread of Jura will never disappear, nor his sense of purpose targeting Ada. Thus, in order to take on only Mamushi, like a typo there, the translation. Anyway, disposing of him in Konoha is ideal. I see. And Inojin, we need you to master a new jutsu. What do you mean new jutsu, fam? Huh? It wouldn't be exaggerating to say it'll be the key in the upcoming battle against Mamushi. It's a superior version of the mind transmission jutsu, and a reason we invited you here. A new jutsu? So wait, I want to know, is this like a jutsu that Inojin would have gotten in a potential future timeline? Or is it just some shinjutsu that Koji knows that he's going to teach? Anyway, Mamushi will show up in Konoha in about a week. It might even be earlier than that. So there's no time to waste. We'll need you to perfect it within 2 days at most. Whoa, hold on. Within 2 days? Without knowing what kind of jutsu it is? It should be possible, since it's something you are going to come up with anyway, in order to avenge Himawari. What? What? What did you just say? That sure got your attention. It's a future we must avoid, of course, but the theories and techniques you gained from it happening were of great value. So, I shall impart them to you. I don't need 2 days. I'll learn it in 1. Just you watch. Boruto just hear me aura farming, dog. Like, it's like, dog, why am I even here, dog? You know what I mean? Like, I could like end the show right now, bro. Like, why am I putting myself up to this, bro? Like, yo, that's the energy I'm getting from Boruto, bro. So that's interesting. A potential future where Himawari gets killed or maybe eaten. Motto. Well, anything at all? His expression is hard to read, but it does seem like he took damage, and that tree he's growing, it's almost definitely the same divine tree that he's composed of. So not only do they heal wounds, but the trees can function as powerful weapons and impregnable shields as well. So what? Are you saying that he doesn't have any weaknesses? Forget weaknesses. It almost makes you think he might be impossible to kill. He can be taken down. I felt it when I fought him. But not with my current firepower. I need more. What, bro? We just redistributed your stats, bro. We just applied an item to reset your stats and increase offense. What do you mean we need more? Kawaki, don't take this the wrong way, but you really shouldn't. Mansa dog, stop bust off my ears, bro. Like, just do what me tell you to do. Want me to crush your throat? Quit making excuses and just do what you're told. If you still want my help with your daughter. Yeah, Boruto just chilling, bro. Boruto just like, can't bother. Alright. I'm saying that your body isn't going to tolerate much more. How are you going to fight Jura if you self-destruct first? I don't like repeating myself, but I'm only granting your wish after I've eliminated our enemies. You want to see your daughter again? Then hurry up and accept your lot in life. Your only choice is to take the gamble on whether I kill our enemies or die first. I told you already. I was in the process of interrogating Boruto as ordered. Unfortunately, that doesn't offer an ounce of credibility, for it's perfectly natural and reasonable for a Mo'ul to conduct themselves in such a way, which is why we need to investigate, and the reason you are here right now. At the time of that interrogation, I detested Boruto, but now I'm feeling some kind of contradiction toward the idea of him as a traitor. I don't know what he told you, but don't you think you are just being tactfully played? And furthermore, I'm amazed you would come out and say that under these circumstances. Do you truly comprehend the situation you are currently in? I could be kind and say he's naive, but he's just dim. He simply doesn't have the character of a mole. Konohamaru catching some strays there, which means someone else helped Boruto escape. Konohamaru, it's me. Answer only in your head. Lord It? There's no time, so I'm gonna be direct. Just stay calm and hear me out, okay? I'm the one who let Boruto escape. I gave Mitsuki the code to unlock his shackles, and I'm still working with Boruto of my own free will. But why? You understand now, don't you? Get out of here with that bulb right now. Wait there for further instruction. Go. You heard me. Move! It may only be a matter of time before they catch on to my actions, so I know I'm asking a lot of you, Konohamaru. But would you help me? Or rather, consider helping us out. Yo, like, Boruto just still be aura farming for some reason, dog. Man, just, like, the man hasn't changed position, like, you know, like, much since last chapter. The man just chilling. I'm not going to force you to do anything, but if you're willing to trust me, please, lend us a hand. Oh, I lost track of time. I need to head to the lab soon. Then I should get going too. I'm not letting you leave, Sarada. We still have things to talk about. Help Sumeri. Bro. I know those, you know, the spicy artists throughout the dark interwebs are going to take this panel and extrapolate it into cultural content. I'm just saying. Anyway, Jado, Rufa, Sarado. Oh, Boruto's there. Or maybe it might be a shadow clone. Hey, Boruto. Mitsuki's there watching. The Uchiha flowing blade. Wait, whoa. The Uchiha flowing blade jutsu Hagoromo. What? It's a jutsu that increases a blade's sharpness and prevents chipping by continuously enveloping it in chakra. But I lost focus for just an instant, and this was the result. Yeah. Like, you'd think they would have like some translation notes here, because the Uchiha flowing blade jutsu Hagoromo. I've never heard it described as that. I know Sasuke usually just runs Shidori, like lightning chakra through his sword. It was never like described as something specific, like a jutsu particular. Obviously it's a jutsu, but like this Hagoromo, like, hold on. Don't give them ideas. Bro, you know the man them gonna do it, bro. You know the man them are going to do it. Hagoromo meaning feather garment and jumping reverse dimensional cloak worn by a celestial woman. Okay, but anyway, yeah. Bro, yeah, this kind of threw me for a loop for a second there, because I was saying like they've never really described it as such. But anyway, but I lost focus for just an instant, and this was the result: a chip. Sorry, class rep, but could you fix it within the next week? Huh? Me? Take a look. This technology is, yeah, it doesn't exist in our world yet, though you would eventually develop it through your current research class rep. I can't say anymore, but will you do it? If I were to use this technology to fix it, I feel like the blade might be reborn as something almost completely different. Is that okay? As long as it ends up stronger, I don't think my master would object. Okay, fine. But there's just one problem. What is it? No more class rep. You need to call me Sumeri. Okay. Huh? I'm gonna jazz it up. Look forward to it. Alright, Boruto being oblivious. Several days later. Technique name was way too long and convoluted. Yeah, they've literally never called it as such, bro. Like, you know, so Sasuke just usually run the lightning chakra or the Shidori through his sword. Man, them never really have a name feat. But anyway. But this is interesting. Anyway, several days later. Now then. Sorry. Random weapon upgrades at the Smith game logics. Yeah, bro, they got the RPG mechanics, got that clear obscure Expedition 33. Now then, I wonder where you're hiding. Big sis Ada. Hey, don't any of you forget, you hear? Keep your chakra signatures erased. so those pesky peeping toms don't catch on to us. All right. I mean, what can I say? Decent chapter, decent chapter. I mean, it would have been nice for to probably see Damon versus Sarada in like a more all-out fight, but given how my interpretation of the power scale is, I think this is just right. And from a character standpoint, this does open up the window, the door to have Ada's character evolve in some very interesting ways for us to, you know, feel more connected with her. Just the whole rapport, the whole dynamic between the Sumere, Sarada, Damon, and Ada, between that group. It's a surefire way to actually make these characters more, especially Ada in this case, like more, I guess, lovable, relatable. So there's that, because you can kind of extrapolate, even though, you know, it kind of might feel cringy for some person in terms of love and yada yada and this all that jazz and blues, but in terms of Ada's desire to have like genuine interpersonal relationships, it can be related to real life, honestly, because, you know, you can use different factors to like replace the whole issue of omnipotence. Like, you know, some persons might have like a lot of money, and then the persons that are around them are really only there for the money, and they might be aware, so they kind of lack that genuine, you know, interpersonal relationship. So, you know, Ada's issue can be extrapolated. It can be, you can take it and apply it to things in real life. So I'm actually interested to see how things develop with her character going forward. So this should be interesting, to say the least. And as per usual, it's a nice move to make things feel much more dynamic for the most part. So yeah. I know there could be a discussion regarding the power scaling, the fact that Damon says, yo, I can take you guys out anytime. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe off screen Ada might have told Damon about the ability of her Mangekyo Sharingan, and this man just still seems very unbothered, not worried really and truly. So, you know, maybe that could be a conversation on the power scaling. Maybe. So there's definitely that. So yeah, I do like this first portion of the chapter, and I'm very interested to see how it's going to go. And of course, getting more insight into why omnipotence didn't affect Sumerian and Sarada. Getting that confirmed, well, quote unquote confirmed, is pretty good as well. Even though I still have an inkling that it could be more, but that makes the most sense right now. The fact that she wanted that genuine relationship, that genuine dynamic with Sarada and Sumere, she probably subconsciously did not cast omnipotence on them. So it's going to be interesting. But I'm wondering if the whole life or death friendship is maybe foreshadowing for, you know, maybe Ada getting consumed and we get a Shinju of Ada, which would be crazy, but maybe Sarada and Sumire go up against that Shinju and end up killing it. Or it might be a case where it comes down to maybe killing that Shinju kills Ada as well. I don't know, something along the lines of that. So, you know, it could be foreshadowing for that at the end of the day. So, cool beans. Of course, getting an idea of how Mamushi is going to function. There is that. One thing I like as well is, you know, since day one when it comes on to Boruto, free time skip, the issue for me has always, and I keep saying this, like, Boruto, Kawaki, and their rise in power, all things considered, them surpassing everything that's come before in the Naruto universe power-wise, makes sense. But with that jump in power, the concern for me was, how do other characters keep up in the grand scheme of things? Are even not even just keeping up, how do they jump in power without it being bullshit? Without it being some Dragon Ball super ridiculous levels of nonsense, right? Hence why, just to kind of segue, well, diverge a little, that was my whole issue with Sarada beating Ryu, or the nuance of my issue with Sarada like actually managing to beat Ryu. But the fact that we have, again, you know, Caution Koji looking into the future, basically saying, yo bro, you have this OP technique here. I'm going to teach it to you now. You know, it kind of helps to make it more believable how characters who, you know, in a lot of cases, I believe shouldn't have any business participating, actually being able to participate in the grand scheme of things. It does make it more dynamic because I would always say that the Boruto manga only kind of, you know, it limits itself to a certain small subset of characters, and everybody else is like, if them show, if we see Inoshika show here and there, yeah, maybe. But really and truly, the persons who are driving the fights, driving the conflict, and everything is really like Boruto, Kawaki, Sarada, like that small group of persons. So I do like that we'll be getting this for Inojin, something that I would never expect. If you told me like pre-times you have see Inojin do something, bro, that's be crazy. So there's that. And I would imagine that, you know, it might not be like going 1v1 versus Mamushi, but this technique he's supposedly supposed to know or learn eventually. I know it makes him part of the part of the whole conflict here. It's been a while since I caught one of your live streams. Hope you're doing well. Hey Fetty, I'm here, man. I'm here. Hey, yo, Marikuama. Is that how I pronounce it? Well, people, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are doing great. So yeah, I've already read the chapter. I'm just kind of reviewing it now, essentially. But anyway, let me continue. So yeah, I like this whole tidbit in terms of prescience, giving the present day characters who I believe have no business participating the ability to participate, because at the end of the day it makes the story more dynamic. It makes it much more dynamic in the grand scheme of things. So I like that, because you know, going back to Shippuden, when it became like the Uchiha show and it was only a certain set of characters, lots of the side characters from part 1 Naruto just kind of fell by the wayside. So it kind of feels like this is going against that and kind of, well, fixing that issue, I suppose. So that's interesting. It's also interesting to note there's a future where Himawari does get killed or absorbed or eaten. So there's definitely that. So I love the fact that we are, you know, of course, aware of Mamushi's ability here. Well, the crucial one for this fight. And you know what's at stake, what he may or may not do thanks to Jura being present. But it kind of gives us the opportunity for, you know, maybe, especially since we saw how prescience kind of works, you know, like sometimes Kashin Koji has to wait on a download. So it kind of gives up, it probably allows Mamushi to kind of like surprise us for the most part. Like anything can, like he could do something surprising. So, you know, we're going to this, it kind of feels like we kind of, okay, things are set, you know, we know what to expect. But obviously that's a easy way for, I guess, Kishimoto and Ikimoto to really and truly just surprise us with something that we and the characters don't expect. So that's going to be very interesting, to say the least. And I did point out from even last chapter, I do love that Inojin is getting involved, especially with his whole dynamic and budding romance with Himawari. So, you know, it just makes things feel much more dynamic going forward. Boruto aura farming, easy points to the chapter as well. Easy points to the chapter as well. Like, the man just look fresh, bro. Man look fresh, dog. So there's that. Jura just chilling. Yeah, what is this man doing, dog? Like, I know probably one of the issues persons have. Like, I don't mind a nonchalant antagonist, nonchalant villain, because it makes for like great comedy in my book. But at the same time, like, I think some of us maybe want Jura to be more proactive. Like, dog, what is the grand objective here, bro? Come on. Come on. This man here drinking Milo, drinking sake, eating dumplings. Like, it might just be chilling. It's crazy. So there's that. But yeah, so, you know, like a comedy there in the chapter as well in my book. So cool beans. What's the next thing too? Of course, we have the whole Kawaki situation here. This man just trying to stock up on rare candies, just trying to, you know, just put in more rare candies, no EV training, no good IVs, no, the man's just getting rare candies, bro, because that's what it looks like to me at this point. So I'm curious to see how that's going to go in terms of Kawaki taking the easy way out. Again, it does fall in line with his character and his belief in terms of the whole shinobi culture versus fighting Otsutsuki, and the shinobi way of doing things isn't really the practical way in this day and age. So it falls in line with his character, and since he's more or less suicidal, quote unquote, the fact that Amado's warning really means nothing to him. But it's interesting to see like Amado take a look at him and say like, yo bro, I don't think this guy can be killed, bro. So Kawaki is convinced otherwise, so I'm curious to see how it's going to go. But like, aside from that, like, Kawaki has the upper hand now, pun very much intended. But Amado is Amado. There is going to be a breaking point. I think this is just like building towards Amado taking a more, how should I say, proactive, a bit more aggressive approach with Kawaki, because this whole Kawaki like threatening him and say, yo bro, we're doing it my way, I don't think it's going to last like super long. I am curious to see how Kawaki is going to function as he keeps getting upgraded, but obviously there's going to be a limit. So yeah, but I think Amado is definitely going to take some matters into his own hand going into the future when it comes on to this dynamic between him and Kawaki and reviving his daughter. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for the most part. Because again, Amado's Amado, man. Like, yeah. But anyway, the political aspect of it now, with the feudal lord chaperone actually coming in here questioning Konohamaru. I'm also interested to see how that's going to develop. It doesn't have to really necessarily be like front and center, but the whole political discourse or political, dynamic and conflicts within the story needs to kind of still be in the background. I feel it makes the world feel more alive, more whole, more quote unquote real. So there's that, because again, Naruto quote unquote dying, you would expect more of a reaction from the rest of the world. So having the chaperone be so adamant and representing the feudal lord, it feels more in line with what I would expect from the world. It makes it feel more immersive, more I don't have to really turn off my brain. It's kind of like the whole idea of like, Naruto's gone, where's Kakashi, where's everybody else? Like, nobody else is really saying anything when it comes on to Naruto going. You would expect characters would have been there, come out, express their like their sadness, their hate for Boruto, but it's like, Naruto gone, it's whatever, with the fact that we don't see a lot of those characters. So having this whole political thing with the feudal lord and his chaperone in the background, I think is needed. It's the bare minimum, I think, at this point. So, and then the whole idea of, Shikamaru coming out and just telling him like, yo, it was me, Mitsuki. So I'm curious to see what Konohamaru is going to do. Which I think is another brilliant move when it comes on to Konohamaru, like, and his relevance, or just being able to be proactive within the story. Again, despite the showings, I believe Konohamaru is also another character that probably shouldn't have any business being able to compete with a lot of what's going on. But putting him, and by extension, as I was saying before, even Inogen, in positions like this where it's this political situation, or even Inogen having that connection to Himawari and learning a new technique, it kind of puts them in a situation where they can be proactive and still feel relevant in the story and actually driving things along, even if they're not going to be like, oh, have their big moment where they're 1v1ing Jura, and so it still makes it feel more alive, so to speak. So definitely like that as well. I like how Koji and Boruto just be building their little own, anti-Konoha, quote-unquote, faction in the grand scheme of things. Of course, we know the as I was saying earlier in this panel, the people of culture online, I'm sure, will extrapolate this panel and definitely creates content for the dark webs. So I'm almost positive of that, to be honest. So yeah, so it's little foolishness like this I'm looking forward to, in terms of seeing Ada and how our character even like changes, knowing that there's no, we can drop the pretenses, we can drop the pretending. I know you guys are my genuine friends, so that's going to be fun. No, the next thing is in line with the whole prescience and using future information to make present characters much more useful, much more credible, much more believable to be able to participate in the conflict, is Boruto coming with knowledge from future Sumeri, well, possible alternate future Sumeri, in terms of some technology to upgrade Sasuke's sword. But it's through scientific ninja weapon research, I would imagine. So that's pretty good too. That's pretty good because, again, scientific ninja weapons, it hasn't really been much of a thing for a while. So I think this is kind of bringing it back to what Kishimoto and company were going for when Boruto just started. So it's kind of like we're kind of slowly but surely merging the new era aspects of Boruto, right? Because as it stands, despite what persons would say in terms of how the fights are going and the tactics, it does kind of feel like Naruto, to be honest. Despite the we got alien trees and yada yada yada, but in terms of how the fights are going, I think it is going fine. So balancing it out now with what Boruto was originally seemingly going to go for with his scientific ninja weapons, I think is going to be interesting. And the next thing too is that if Sumere gets this technological scientific upgrade in terms of this technology she's going to be using to upgrade Boruto's sword, it could probably apply to a lot of other persons too. And some of what I was saying before in terms of scientific ninja weapons kind of helping to augment a lot of these characters could be a thing as well. So that is it. That is it. So I'm curious to see how it's going to go. And of course, Sumere in character, being proactive and say, hey, I'm still competing with Sarada too. So she's kind of dropping those little breadcrumbs for Boruto, which, the man is man is clueless, bro. Clueless. And of course, we do end off on Mamushi finally being in Konoha. So I mean, solid chapter, bro. Solid chapter. Like, I don't know. I think persons would say I glaze this manga too much. Of course, I'm not saying it's the best thing or the craziest thing in the world, but I mean, from chapter to chapter, I think it's been pretty solid. Definitely been pretty solid. Not gonna lie. And again, once the anime, well, I don't even think I can say if, but when the anime comes back, man, like, I think persons are going to really like it, honestly. It's really hard to say if, even with the quality of this manga and how decent the story has been, if Boruto on a whole will ever really catch up to the levels that Naruto was, right? Because, call me crazy or believe it or not, next year makes 10 years since Boruto is out. And I guess if you really compare it to the first 10 years of like Naruto from like 1999 to 2009, it's definitely a different era. Definitely a different era when it comes on to what Boruto has to deal with now, what it's building off of, and the expectations. But I think persons going into Two Blue Vortex, even reaching up to this point, once the anime even gets to this point, I think they'll like it, at the very least. So yeah. Anyway, what do you guys think about the chapter though? Like, any thoughts, any commentary, any ratings, and any expectations for chapter 28 and beyond? That is the better question too. Because right now, and you know, I like it. I like that we got like this one chapter of just, you know, building up, and we're back into it already. So again, the piercing, I think the piercing is pretty good as well. We don't have to wait. I mean, at the end of the day, this is monthly, fam. So it's like we gotta kind of keep a certain pace, I believe. So the fact that we have Mamushi for next chapter and the fight should be starting, I definitely like that. Really, truly like that. Keep your chakra signature raised so specific peeping toms don't catch on us. Ah, boy. Gonna go clean up the kitchen after. You like the chapter? Yeah, I like it too. I mean, to date, I think I like every chapter, fam. I don't know which chapter I would like critically give like say like a bad rate. I don't think any chapter has been less than like a 7 out of 10, to be honest. Like every chapter has been really good. In terms of characters, pacing. I guess the only thing is that I guess persons want things to be more proactive with the villains in terms of what they're going to do. But you know, they're making moves. So I guess we can't really complain too much. Even though I know persons like Milo, like Milo would probably like, yo, Juro, what are you doing, fam? Like, do something. So there's that. I know as I even passed by this panel of Akibi, well, her body. I think most persons are expecting some foolishness to go on if Kawaki places the karma on it to revive Amaru's daughter. Is Ada gonna get cooked? Shinju needs to get their target. Yeah, I think that's why I think so as well. That's one point I was bringing up where, in terms of like Ada saying like she doesn't mind if it was like Sarada or Sumeri are both in like kill her. So I'm wondering if that's kind of like foreshadowing, like, yo, she might get eaten, she might get turned into a Shinju, and then you know, Sarada and Sumeri will be the ones to actually kill her. But it might result in her death as well somehow, some ways, through some ridiculousness, right? So there's that possibility as well. But yeah, I think one of the Shinju need to get their target. Not even just because of the whole setup with Sarada and Sumeri and Ada there, but I'm curious to see what would happen really in terms of would the Shinju itself change? Would it be like a combination of the two persons? Like, so for example, if Mamushi consumes Ada, does it merge Ada and Bug's mind into this new personality? Or, you know, I'm kind of curious what would happen from that perspective. So yeah, we got questions like, what if, you know, like a what if question. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? So there's that. But you know, with Boruto kind of getting the upgrade, well, eventually getting this upgrade to his sword, I'm wondering what's gonna happen with the whole Momoshiki deal though. Are we probably, you know, given how things are going, we'll probably won't hear about that for now, because maybe Boruto won't participate in this coming battle. Maybe, honestly, it might be Inojin, of course. More unlikely, I think I could possibly see Himawari participating. Of course, Damon is like the character I think most of us really are looking forward to. Like, it's been long enough. We need another fight with him, and this is the time. This is the time for that to happen. So right now, I could foresee probably Boruto kind of sitting this match out, especially with his, you know, recent back and forth with Kashin Koji in terms of his interference, and if he moves, Juro is going to move. So I think I could probably see Boruto sitting this one out. But yeah, probably like Sarada, Mitsuki. I mean, with especially since all of them are going to be at the same level. power wise at least. I think this is a great opportunity for a lot of characters to get involved and get their ass kicked to, you know, probably get that prescience upgrade. I guess we'll start calling it that, the prescience upgrade. I don't know if Mitsuki has some future thing where Kashin Koji needs to teach him as well. But hopefully coming out of this next fight, this next arc, I'm hoping we get something for him as well. But this is a prime opportunity for a lot of characters to, you know, get a little time to shine. So I think, where are we? October, November, December. I can kind of foresee this next set of chapters, well, this conflict taking us all the way until maybe March, April, maybe, in terms of that, before it concludes. So yeah, pretty much just that. So yeah, I mean, I can't say there's not much more to say on the chapter. It was definitely solid, to say the least. Not a solid entry. As we kind of come closer and closer to December, I'm hoping we get some great news when it comes on to Boruto anime wise for Jump Festa. We are 27 chapters in, and there's still about 12 chapters pre-time skip to do. I wouldn't mind them coming in and say, hey, seasonal, but, you know, wishful thinking. Well, I guess we'll see. Anyway, guys, if there's not more you guys want to discuss on the chapter, I think I might be out of here for now and just chillax for the rest of the day for the most part. Of course, Clear Obscure Expedition 33 streams resume this week, probably Wednesday. Yeah, probably Wednesday will be a better day, to be honest. My body. So yeah, so you guys can definitely tune in for that as well. But yeah, looking forward to next chapter. Awesome stuff. Of course, guys, leave a like, subscribe. Of course, anything else, you can leave your comments on the stream. And of course, naturally, the next big thing, of course, you can come out for the end of month subscriber stream for next week, Thursday or Friday. More like it might be Thursday. So yeah. Anyway, respect for coming out, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.